Hi YouTube, it's Graxy. Welcome back to the channel. Hero Siege Season 8 starts on September 12th, and with that, I'm going through all of my Season 7 build guides and updating them for the new patch. In today's video, we're going to be talking about my starter and progression guide for the Progenies of the Great Cataclysm Bard. This is going to give you all the information you need to know to league start this character, as well as give you some advice on how to farm the early game to progress your character into the mid game and ultimately the end game. So be sure you hit that subscribe button, keep up to date with all my future Hero Siege news content and build guides. And let's get into this, right? So first things first, disclaimer, this was made during the Season 8 closed beta with the content mechanics that are available at that time. We do not have item spawners in the Season 8 beta, so this is just based off of previous build trends as well as me just going through the journal and theory crafting with what we have in game. If you've never played the Lightning Bard before, here's basically what it looks like. I don't have one that's leveled up right now, and I'm just really crunched on time right now. So to give you an idea here, you are going to hit your Progenies of the Great Cataclysm. You'll have a speaker that follows you around. It's basically going to do exactly the same thing that this is doing here, but it'll have a couple of additional line attacks that will hit monsters, and you just run around, and you're basically just an auto bomber build. If you need more information on this one, I do have obviously the Season 7 video. You can check that out, and I have the entire video of me playing the characters. You can see what it looks like with the augment. But while that's going on, we're also going to be throwing some additional speakers out that are going to put notes out and group a bunch of monsters together. And then last but not least, what's really cool about this ability is you also get this Symphony skill, right? This is going to allow you to get additional lightning skill damage. It's going to unleash additional guitar picks on hit. So you can kind of see those there. It's a little hard to see, I suppose. Well, they don't like me. I just saw them there for a second, right? They're kind of getting blocked into there. So that's going to give you some additional damage. Overall, really fun build. It has a lot of sound effects going on with it. I don't have them on in the video here, but there's a shitload of sound effects for the Bard. And if that's your thing, then this could be the class for you. Now, going into Season 8, the Bard didn't really get any changes, right? He did on the physical side, and we'll talk about that in a different video. But in terms of the Lightning Bard, didn't really see any changes. There's a lot of new gear and some reworks to gear that are going to make him stronger once you're able to move into some of that gear. But early on, honestly, he's gonna feel a little bit weak. He already didn't feel amazing in the early game. He's probably not going to be feeling too hot right at the start, but he can get very, very strong. And with a lot of, again, these new items and new stuff going on, he's going to be even better than he was in Season 7 once you get into the mid game and the late game. So, yeah, let's talk about some pros and cons. This is an auto bomber build. You have passive for lightning skill damage, insane faster cast rate. It's a great lightning break and debuff. It has great lightning break and stasis debuff skills. There's a lot of ways that you can get free damage with that. You also have free damage through burn options and scaling extra damage to burning enemies. And it's the only class in the game that has a magic find on kill proc passive. And killing monsters, you have a chance to proc additional magic find. No other character in the game can do that. Cooldown based builds aren't going to have full uptime initially. So this character, you do have a cooldown on this speaker, right? You can see that right now it has a 40-second cooldown with a 20-second duration. Fortunately, last season they made a couple of changes so that anytime you zone in or zone out, you are going to reset that cooldown. So you'll basically have 20 seconds of uptime in that zone before you have to hit the next zone, and you'll get that cooldown back. You'll get that skill back, which is really nice. But this can be a little bit annoying early on just because you're not going to have the ability to have full uptime. As well as you cannot change the cast rate of that speaker. It does its own thing. There's nothing in the game that will change how fast it does or doesn't cast. So you're a little bit limited by that in terms of overall speed. And lightning gear in the mid game is going to be expensive. This was a newer class last season. A lot of people are really interested in Bard and the lightning spec in general. There's a lot of other builds around the lightning spec, Storm Reavers, Amazons that are also good specs that are going to require gear. So you are going to be fighting with some of those other meta lightning classes for gear. Right. Let's talk about skill trees. I have The full leveling skill trees from 1 to 100, it's pretty simple. You're going to level as a lightning bard, right? You get your one of your main skills at level 1. Really good skill. Honestly, leveling on a bard is pretty simple. So just follow through on these skill trees, right? At level 100, here's what our final tree will look like. We're basically just taking our main skill with synergies and then buffing with any additional like lightning skill damage or conversions or any of that stuff that is in the tree, right? If you aren't familiar with sub-skill trees, you get these every 5 character levels. That's these additional windows here, right? So starting at level 5, you can click on this thing and put points into the sub-skill tree to give your skill more damage or, you know, increase targets, more range, things like that. It's a way to spec out the skill. So I do have all of those skill trees available in the written guide, so you can spec those out. For attributes, you're going to be going 2 points intelligence, 2 points vitality. This is going to give you damage and life, and then enough energy to feel comfortable. This is going to be using a lot of energy. Make sure you're finding energy on charms, getting mana charms, getting mana on kill. That way you can sustain using this skill a lot and casting this skill a lot. The more you can cast it, the more damage you do, the much easier your time is going to be leveling through the game. Now, in terms of gearing, this entire section here is really just designed to give you workable suggestions on different stages of the game. So starting with our leveling, right? You're going to be looking for mythics, rare items that have the lightning skill damage tag and other tags that match the lightning caster archetype, right? So I've listed all those out for you. You can kind of take a look at, you know, it's generic caster stuff, right? Faster cast rate, magic skill damage, sustained from life and mana on kill, and then all your lightning related skill stuff and damage types, right? It's pretty simple. There are some rune word options in here. You can scroll down on any of these and check out some of the rune words that we have in here. You don't have to get any rune words. It's just if you're able to find some of them or able to make some of them, it can help your leveling process. Gems are also super important to leveling. For this character specifically, we are going to be looking for topaz gems, right? Topaz will give us lightning skill damage. It'll be of these same values here. Socket those into your gear, you know, anywhere that you have gear with holes, and this will give you additional lightning skill damage, just giving you even more damage to blast through. Super important to be looking out for those topazes. Now, once you hit level 100, again, no best in slot gear here. Our main goal is just to get your character through Hell 1, kill Mevius, unlock Satanic Zone, so then you can start farming for upgrades like heroics and stuff in the progression section. So this is just going to give you some workable suggestions, some workable gear types. A lot of this stuff could be flip-flopped around with really any gear set just to make it work to get you through Hell 1, which is the easiest of the Hell difficulties, right? So check out any of these, tons of options in there. As a caster, you're really trying to get a lot of penetration and you're trying to get as much skill damage and all skills as you can on your character. Those 3 things are really important. We don't particularly care about cast rate as much. You kind of want to go for more cooldown based stuff just to help you with keeping up your Progenies. So yeah, whatever we can do to maybe pivot towards a little bit more cooldown over a faster cast rate will help with the overall feel of the build. And then for progression gear, like I said, same thing. We do have a ton of different options in here of different items that you would want to look for while you're blasting through, you know, your hell difficulties or looking for your upgrades and what items maybe you should go for. Progression gear is going to be a little bit different because target farming has completely changed in Season 8. Target farming is back, basically, is the best way to put it. 40% of the rolls that you have towards SS items that drop go towards the Chase Zone Satanic, or the Chase Zone Heroic. So if you end up, you know, farming in King's Garden that can drop Lucy Days or something, and you have 10 rolls towards an SS and you get an SS, 4 of those rolls are guaranteed to go towards the bias or that Lucy Day. So that's really nice for target farming. So being able to go through here and be like, okay, well, I want to maybe get a Sawyer's. You are able to go find where the Sawyer's chase zone is and just go farm that zone, and you have a much better chance of getting that whenever you do drop an SS out of that zone, which makes the progression much better. Feels way better. We've also taken out all of the Inferno items out of the progression gear, out of the mid game, basically. Inferno items are only going to be end game items. They're going to be aspirational items. It's much harder to get to Inferno now. It's just the difficulty of the game change. So it doesn't make sense to have him in the mid game anymore. Before, people were able to kind of push into mid game or push into Inferno to be able to farm out some of these items. And generally, if you were able to get to Inferno, you could farm anything in Inferno. So it honestly wasn't that big of a deal. Now it's much harder. So these are all going to be in their own category. For Relics, Relics did get a bit of a rework this season. There's a lot of really good ones. This needs to change. So these are going to be really important for scaling up your damage. So you can see the globe here. There's a lightning globe. This will give you plus 10 to lightning skills, right? This will give you plus 10 to lightning skills. There's also a new pen relic. If I can find it here. There it is. The Orb of Lightning. This is going to give you 30% penetration. Very, very good. Super important to hit the 100% pen cap. As well as we have things, conversions. We have additional life relics if you just want to stack a bunch of life if you're playing hardcore. And some additional utility options available. There are some different things that we can do with relics, with relic effectiveness and rings and stuff. That's kind of for a whole different build, basically. We would be centering the entire character around that. I'm not going to be covering that in these guides. It's something that we'll be messing around with on the open beta, something that people will have to mess around with in the actual season. But there is some interesting things that have potential when it comes to the relics next season. So be sure that you're checking out what we're doing in the open beta and seeing what the community is able to put together with that stuff. Also, you do get a 5th relic slot now. That's unlocked by completing the Fall of Darkness quest, which is killing Uber Gabriel and Uber Amon-Ra. So you will get a 5th relic in season 8. Potions haven't changed at all. Check out the ones that are in here, right? Any of these will be just fine to throw on your character. Getting damage, getting skills, getting whatever, faster cast rate. For chest augments, Monstrosity still going to be a really good option. It's give you a ton of upfront damage. Yeah, that's what I would go. For Mercenaries, they did receive a bit of a rework going into Season 8. So read through these, right? Check out the changes to the different Mercenaries. If you're not familiar with Mercenaries, generally speaking, your Knights, your tank, your Archer is your Ranger, and your Magister, your Magister is your Mage, right? So this is... Generally, people go with the Night Merc just because Mercs honestly aren't that tanky. The Night Merc is going to be the tankiest of them. And we just stack Magic Find on them. We get as much Magic Find as we can on our Mercs because it's really going to help propel you in the early game to be able to help farm for items because your Merc's Magic Find applies to you. Right. You also get gloves, belts, and boots now on a Merc, giving you even more Magic Find. So all of the items that are listed in here are going to be very focused on Magic Find. As well as for weapons here, you can see we have coded them so you know which ones that they will go for in terms of the different Mercs, right? Because your Knight Merc doesn't wear bows, for example. So all that information is in there in terms of what we would put on for a Mercenary. Hero levels haven't changed at all for Season 8. There's a couple of them nodes in there that they buffed up a little bit, but generally speaking, it's the exact same things we've been doing for the last 5 seasons on hero levels. If you don't know how they work, check out this video, give you all the information you need. Same thing for glyphs. Haven't really changed at all for season 8. Check out the video if you aren't familiar with how glyphs work. This will show you what they are, how to get them, give you information about them, that whole shebang. For loot filters, I do have loot filters available for everybody. I just finished recording that video recently. That will be up a day before the open beta. So you'll be able to make filters, have them available, save them to your account so that you can have them whenever the new season goes live. Be sure you export them to like a notepad or something and save them because I don't know if you're going to be able to save them in the open beta and they actually will save for the new season. I have no clue. Most likely, probably not. So put them on something else and use them that way. Or if that doesn't work, because I've never been able to use filters from the beta to the actual season. If that doesn't work, I will have obviously this here so you can go through and check out exactly how to put the filter together for any build, any archetype. All that information will be in every single guide. It'll also be available on the website, right? So it'll kind of look like this where you can go and select all the different affixes that I tell you to select. Right, and then helpful resources. There's a an entire document with the wiki, with the Hero Siege helper, progression tips, mining guides, zones to farm. I am working on updating some of this stuff in here as it is a little bit outdated. I made this stuff, 4 seasons ago. So it does need a little bit of an update, but a lot of it is still very true to the game. So definitely check that out if you're a newer player, as it'll give you some additional information going into the new season. And overall, the Bard is looking to be a good class going into Season 8. There's some different things that you can do, especially transitioning this character maybe into the new Flicker Strike Bard. I think going Lightning first for a little while until you can get some gear to move into the Flicker Strike could be a really good choice. However, just going pure Lightning is going to be a little bit challenging if you don't know what you're doing, if you're a newer player. But overall, it will end up being a stronger build than it was in its Season 7 variant. Be sure you hit that subscribe button. Keep up to date with all Hero Siege related content. Come check me out live at twitch.tv/Galaxy_TV. We will be playing the open beta this weekend, September 5th. It'll be a lot of fun. Hope to see you guys there. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.